Morning, Phil. How are we?
Well, yeah, very good, thank you.
Happy days. So, just to get started, then, can you give us a bit of background on yourself and your career before and with SIS or SIS? Is it SIS or SIS? I'm never sure.
Yeah, SIS or SIS, we're known as both. So yeah, I've been in the industry for about 22 years. I started out as a groundsman at my local team, Ipswich Town Football Club. I
Yeah.
worked at Portman Road as a stadium groundsman. I was there for about 6 years, and before I came on board with SIS in 2004. So I've been with SIS for 16 and a half years now, and I've been working initially hands-on, installing synthetic artificial pitches all over the country in the UK. And then that sort of broadened out to working more on natural pitches on the continent as well as in the UK, and then on to construction of pitches, whether that be natural or synthetic. And then eventually from 2015, working on the hybrid side of things with SIS Grass, and that's where I am today.
And so, you mentioned Portman Road and as a groundsman and that type of thing. Just tell us a bit, what is some of the day-to-day roles as a groundsman there?
So as I was a stadium groundsman there, I was in charge of looking after that pitch on a day-to-day basis, whether that just be normal maintenance or match preparation. At the time when I was there, Ipswich were flying a little higher than what they are today. So I saw them get promoted to the Premier League in 2000, which was nice. So we had some decent football matches going on. So it was good. And we also had some England internationals. So yeah, it was very varied. And yes, at the time I very much enjoyed. But yeah, the roles were anything from, daily mowing of the pitch, marking it out, repairing it, and general duties really to do with that.
The links are obvious between what you do now and what you do then. And so, I mean, that's obviously helped. But are there any reasons why that might have hindered what you do now, what you were doing before?
No, I think the fact I was a groundsman, and a lot of the people I deal with on a day-to-day basis are groundsmen, whether that be in football, rugby, cricket or tennis. All turf people in the industry can relate to things if you've worked there, and I think that comes across, and it helps me understand, from the customer's point of view a little bit better, maybe some of the things they go through on a day-to-day basis, because I've been there and I've done that, previously. So no, I think that helps me.
And how difficult was it to make a transition from what you were doing before to maybe something a bit more business minded or slightly different?
Initially, it was a big change. I hadn't done anything other than be a groundsman until I joined SIS, and it was a big change going from working on an actual turf pitch every day to coming into the world of synthetics and construction, which I'd never done before. So no, it was a big change, but it was something I thrived on. I couldn't have seen myself staying as a groundsman for much longer at Ipswich. I wanted to broaden my horizons. So that's why I moved on and joined SIS, and I haven't really looked back, to be honest. I've been able to get involved with all aspects of synthetic, natural, and now hybrid, whether that be maintenance, construction, or anything else. It's been very varied and something I really enjoy.
And so then, just to get stuck into it more, SIS, SIS Pitches, what is it exactly, and what is it that you do?
So SIS Pitches is a global business with several offices around the world. We specialise in the design, the manufacture, construction, installation, and also maintenance of natural, synthetic, and hybrid sports pitches. So we do that all over the world, and we can offer an in-house service from start to finish if the client requires that, and that's quite unique for a company that's works all over the globe. So that's SIS Pitches, and then I'm now focused on the SIS Grass business side of it, which is the hybrid. So I'm now a director with SIS Grass, looking after that predominantly in the UK, and helping out with the SIS Grass internationally as well.
So what is the SIS Grass exactly? Where did the idea come from, and what is it?
So SIS Grass is our sort of flagship product, if you like. It's our stitched hybrid system. It came about in 2015. Well, it launched in 2015. It was only the second product of its type on the market, following a competitor who introduced the system many years ago. And a tremendous system, works very well. which is why we wanted to see what we could do and how we could improve things. And that's what we did in 2015. We introduced new machinery, new technology, and new ways of introducing this system into the market, and it's worked very, very well.
So what sets SIS Grass apart from, say, if someone's going to come in and use SIS Grass to replace their pitch, what sets it apart from what they've already got or what they could go and get in the market?
I think it's just the innovation that we've brought. As I said, when we introduced, we introduced new technology to introduce this system into pitches, whether that be the accuracy of the stitching of the fibres or the speed of installation, and also the service we provide as well. Because we are a company that builds pitches and we know pitches. We work with pitches on a day-to-day basis. We're not just offering a stitching service, if you like. We do work with pitches on a day-to-day basis, and that knowledge comes with it. And I think that comes across with our service, what we bring.
And so you mentioned the technology and the process. So what is that sort of in a nutshell? What happens when you go in?
So basically, when a pitch is rebuilt or it needs to be stitched with SIS Grass, our machines will come along. We've got big machines and also our smaller universal machines. They all work in the same way, but what they're doing is introducing synthetic fibres vertically into the ground at very close centres. So every 2 centimetres over a surface area, a synthetic fibre will be injected into the ground, either to a depth of 180 mil or to a depth of 90 mil, depending on the surface and the product. And that process over a normal football pitch of 8,000 square meters can be done in six, seven days. So it's a very, very quick process in terms of what was expected many years ago. So things have moved on. So that's generally the process. And what you end up with, what SIS Grass is, it's a natural turf surface which is synthetically reinforced. But that synthetic element is less than 5%. So you're actually left with a grass surface which is more than 95% natural turf.
And I've seen sort of been looking into it, and obviously it's about in some of the big names in sports and some of the big venues. But is SIS Grass available exclusively in elite sports, or is it tangible for the likes of schools, universities, even amateur clubs? So
in the early days of these systems, yes, it was the elite clubs, the big stadiums that had access to this. It's not a small investment, and it has been, as I say, mostly available for big clubs and stadiums. But what we did in 2015, we introduced new technology, and then in 2017 we introduced another new technology, which was our SIS Grass universal machine, which is a smaller, compact machine, which is the first of its kind, first of its type. And what that did is open up many more opportunities for other sports to actually get benefits from hybrid surfaces, and that's what we've done. We ventured into golf tees, tennis courts, and the biggest success so far has been cricket, where we've been stitching cricket wickets now for 3.5 years, and it's going from strength to strength, and that is an avenue where we see real potential growth.
So just before we dive into cricket slightly more, where are some of the venues or the names around the world that SIS is being used?
So SIS Grass, some of the biggest names would be Barcelona, Camp Nou Stadium. We've stitched that for the last 2 years. We've also done Celtic up in Scotland. Derby County was the first stadium pitch in the UK. And since then we've done Fulham, Swansea, Birmingham City, to name a few. Newcastle will be another one. Southampton and Brighton also in the Premier League.
And okay, so let's move on to cricket then. I haven't been a groundsman yourself. What are the benefits for somebody who's looking after a cricket square or a cricket pitch to putting the SIS Grass in there?
So the benefits of the groundsman is the fact that these pitches, they're so much more durable. The damage that is inflicted to the surface is significantly reduced. So the pitches will last a lot longer, and the damage they will suffer is a lot less. So the actual amount of work for the groundsman post-use is significantly reduced, and the recovery time of that surface is actually increased. So it's sort of twofold, really. So that's the benefit for the groundsman's point of view.
And tell us a bit about the relationship that SIS have built or have got with some top level cricket clubs in the UK.
Yeah, so in 2017 was when we first sort of trialled SIS Grass in cricket. We worked with the ECB at the ECB Performance Centre at Loughborough, and we also worked with Warwickshire Cricket Club at Edgbaston, and also at Worcestershire. They were the first clubs that trialled it, and after great success at all of those venues, we started getting sort of more and more demand from the rest of the county grounds, and I'm pleased to say we've worked at 14 of the 18 now, and they've got at least one or two pitches, whether that be practice pitches or actual match pitches as well on the main square. So the relationship with all those clubs is good, and it's growing, and I expect to be working with them, a lot of them going forwards too. And
just lastly then, it's the square it can be used, but also is it right that they can be used in the nets or on the pitch as well?
Yeah, both. So the biggest benefit of these pitches is the durability, and the fact that they can take a lot more hammer than a normal natural pitch. So the natural place for these is in net practice blocks where they get absolutely hammered. But they have also been approved for use in one-day domestic games, such as a T20 Blast in the UK. So the ECB approved those pitches for use in 2019, and several matches in that season and the season just gone have been utilising our hybrid pitches.
And then, so in terms of SIS as a company, obviously everyone's been touched by what's been going on this year with the coronavirus. What's the biggest challenge you faced as a result of the pandemic?
I think initially it was the uncertainty, and then it was the cancellation, postponement of a lot of the orders that we had in place for the summer. It couldn't really have come at a worse time. We were heading into our busiest season from May to September, and we were faced with a drop of orders. People understandably not sure what was happening, those orders being cancelled, and suddenly the order book was looking very, very slim. So that was probably the biggest challenge, and to keep the work that we could, and to get through the year. And fortunate enough, we did have a lot of clients who kept a lot of the work at the back end of the year, which we were able to still work on and deliver. So we were, thankfully in a very good position compared to some other companies who have struggled.
So you mentioned before 2015, there was one other company that were doing exactly sort of the same thing that you were. How competitive, maybe since you've started, have you found the market that you operate in?
Yeah, it is competitive. Yeah, initially for ourselves it was difficult. A new company coming into a market where one company had the market share for many years. So getting our product in the ground and for people to recognise that was that had its own challenges. But since we've been on the market, there are now others on the market. There are now four players in total. So it is getting more and more competitive. And along with the stitched products, there is also hybrid carpets as well, which are also in the marketplace. So no, it is a very competitive market, but there's a lot of demand out there for these pitches, and we're certainly making our name for ourselves in that industry.
And then, so that your journey was slightly different in the way that you worked your way up. But from your experience now in your position, what advice would you offer somebody who's got an idea such as the SIS Grass that they want to introduce into the sports technology market?
Find a good idea that no one else has got, that everybody wants. That's
as simple as that.
Simple as that, yeah. And we were very lucky that SIS Grass came along at a time where we were only the second company offering that kind of system, and we were able to sort of take advantage of that. But it's a very niche market still, and although there is 4 players offering the service, it is still very niche, and it's a simple idea, but it works extremely well, which is why it's a product which is in demand in the top football pitches and rugby pitches, etc., all over the world now. So no, get a good idea and take advantage of it.
And for you personally, is there anything you would do differently in your journey from groundsman at Ipswich to where you are now?
I would probably have brought our small universal machine out earlier, because knowing what we know now on what potential it has for cricket and tennis and hopefully golf as well, we wish we probably would have done that a little bit earlier.
And finally then, what's the future hold for you and for SIS Grass? Are there any sports, for example, you'd love to get more involved with, or any markets that you'd like to access?
One of the markets we feel there is a real benefit to is golf and golf tees. We have done a few trials with SIS Grass on them, but we feel there is a lot more to offer. We just need, that's definitely something I'd like to do a lot more in. And then also expanding in the tennis. I believe on the basis of the success from the cricket that we've had, SIS Grass seems to be a really, really good fit for tennis, natural tennis courts, baselines in particular. So those are two areas where I'd like to see a lot more growth.
Well, best of luck, Phil, going forward, and thanks for coming on to having a chat this morning.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.